Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Tinkercad to make a original for casting. If you've never used this before, first thing you're going to have to do, you're going to have to sign up. You put your birthday. I won't go through the whole thing because I already have an account. And then you put in an email. Like I said, I already have one, so I'm going to get out. Just log in to my account. And alright, I actually have a couple accounts. This is one of them. When you first log in, yours might look slightly different. You'll probably have some lessons that are going to show up. If you want to learn some more of the controls and stuff, you can go to the basic skills, and that has little lessons for how to do everything. Here's the warning that I'm going to give you. These are awesome. They are super simple. Like if I click on this one for creating holes, it's going to give you load part of a model already once it pops up here. Should show the whole wrench here. But anyway, I can show you the basic walkthrough of it. It's literally grabbing shapes and it gives you where to put them. You line up and you follow the directions. Super easy. If you do the lesson, do not do your design in the lesson. The lessons will not save. So make sure that you start a new drawing completely. Let me get out of this. Alright, to do that, this is kind of your home page. You're going to come here, create new design. Alright, some of the basics. This grid is where you're going to place stuff. Over here on the side, you can zoom in, zoom out, change what angle you look at, different things. I'll leave it like this for now. Over here, these are all the basic shapes that you can bring in. There are, close this, there's text, symbols, connectors, extras, and then some other community made things. These tools up here, I'm going to show you, and once I get some stuff on here, and then export is what you're going to have to do before you send it to me. Alright, so first thing, once you open a new one, I'm going to change this grid. Right now it's in millimeters. To change it, I click on edit grid. I'm going to change it to inches. Now I don't want you making something this big. I'm going to print them out in the 3D printer. Printing them out, if you would do something this big, would take hours upon hours. So the maximum size that I'm going to hold you to is basically a 3x3 cube. So I'm going to do 3 inches by 3 inches. It's inches, makes it custom. Click update grid. That makes this grid is 3x3. So you can make something the entire size of it. It's 3x3. Alright, now let me bring in a shape. So I'm going to do a pyramid. I'll tell you why I'm going to do a pyramid here in a second. Alright, it moves around, follows my cursor, click to place it. Alright, changing it. There's all these little handles that you can grab and stretch to change height. Right now, this is a 1x1 and is 1 inch tall pyramid. I'm going to make it the full size of the base. So I click here, drag it to this corner, drag it to this corner. I'm going to bring the height up. Alright. So I'll have the shape, you rotate it around, you can kind of see. Alright, so that's bringing in the first shape. Let me bring in a second shape. I'm going to bring in a box. I'm going to make it the same 3x3. If you notice it's snapping every so often, that's this selection here. I can change how often it snaps. Right now, by default, it's set it jumps every 1/8 of an inch. You can go to 1/2 inch, and you can turn it off. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to cut this part, this top part of the pyramid off. So I made this big rectangle block, whatever you want to call it. I don't want it flat on the bottom. I want to bring it up so I can cut it. To do that, if I click on the black arrow here, I can move stuff up in space. Alright, now, the way it looks, again, if I right click and move my mouse around, or right click and move the trackpad, it'll rotate around in 3D. My pyramid has a little square hat to it. To cut, you use shapes to cut. So I already have this shape up here. I want to use this to cut off the top of the pyramid. I'm going to select hole. Makes it kind of translucent. It's all striped in here. And then the shaded part is kind of where it overlaps with the pyramid. Alright, I'm going to now group these two things together to actually cut it off. So if I have this one selected, I hold shift, click on the pyramid, now I have two. Now this option lights up. Alright, this is group. When I click that, it combines the two of them. And then it cuts off. When it combines something that's like a negative space with something that is there, it chops part of it off. Alright, if let's say I don't want this quite as tall, I have this selected, click ungroup, and I can come back and ungroups it and I can change it. So if I want this cut down lower, I'm going to bring this down about there and grab this handle, stretch it up so it's taller than an inch. You can extend past, doesn't really matter. Now I group it again. Sometimes it takes a second to catch up here. Alright, so that, let's say I have that on here. The reason why I did a pyramid, when you do a casting, basically you're packing sand around whatever we're making here. And if you have an angle on the sides, it makes it easier to remove the 3D printed object from the sand without it breaking your actual mold design. So if I was taking this piece, let me flip her around. Well, if okay, imagine this piece is upside down. I'll just do it. Alright, I'm about to pull this out of the sand. Sand is even with this top face here, and I pull it out up. This sand will stay locked in place, whereas if it's facing the other way, and I pull it up, sand's going to be built up over here, and it's going to hit and break out. So, angles are your friends. And these little arrows here help you rotate stuff around. So just saw that. Keep it to the inside and it jumps 22.5 degrees each time. Take it outside and it'll go individual degrees. Line it back up. Alright, so shapes. You can put whatever shapes, designs you want on here. Just with the sand, the casting, keep that in mind. So for example, let's say I take the sphere. Alright, my grid's still on the bottom, so I take the sphere, bring it up, put it on the top. That's fine, but when we pack, let me group them and rotate them. Alright, when I pack sand, it's going to be even with the top. It's going to be fine here. The sand's going to tuck into this groove underneath this undercut here, and when you pull it straight up, it's going to break that sand out. So instead of doing that, if I would take this sphere and sink it down to like the midpoint, then it's smooth, nothing's going to catch, nothing's going to tear out. Again, you can change, doesn't have to stay a sphere, I can stretch it out oblong like a football, do whatever. Like I said, there's tons of different shapes in here. If you click on something, hit delete, it deletes it. Now to do stuff on faces, so let's say I'm just going to do something kind of random here. I don't know, I'll put I'll do one of those shapes. Alright, change them where the work plane is. I click this button here. If I click on this face, it'll put the grid on that face. So what that does is allows me to bring in shapes and put them directly on whatever face I want. And still same thing, I can change them. If you do something with straight sides, like if I want to put this heart on here, you can usually get away with it. Just make sure that it's not super tall. So this I would shrink down to about that height. If I wanted to put some text on one of these angled sides, work plane, click here, I can do text, place it, I can change what it says. Alright, right now that is super huge. It goes off the shape, the size, everything. You can change the height and stuff here. The bevel, nope, that won't really affect it. Alright, so if I want to change this, I can change if I wanted this type of text. Same thing, grab the handles and you can move it, change it, adjust it. Again, that stuff is sticking super far out. You can do text on angles like that, but again, same thing. I wouldn't stick quite so far. Even there, you're going to get some tear out on the bottom of the letters. What you can do is if I change it to a whole and then move it inside, then I can group the two pieces, and then I'll cut the text into your base. So you're going to create a whole design, whatever you want. Again, look through the different shapes, designs, different things you can do. This is just a quick little example. If you want to line stuff up, so let's say I have my base, hold shift, click this heart. Say I want this heart centered up. Click a line. Nope, I gotta move my grid. Work plane back here on the bottom. There we go, here. Alright, now align. Alright, if I select both things, these dots help me align stuff. So let's say I want this heart centered going this way on the top face. If I click on this button, it'll center it, the two of them together in that relationship. If I click this one, it's going to line up the edges, If I want it centered this way, and this one, move it here, move it up, center there. So that's a way that you can center things. Once you get your design, whatever, basically we're going to use this and cut a desk set, a pen pencil holder. So if you want to cut the holes in it now, that's fine, but just keep in mind if you do a big complex design here on the face, somewhere on it we're going to have to drill at least one hole. So if I was doing this one, I could drill down through the heart and the pencil would look like it's a little arrow through the heart. I don't know. Do something creative. Once you have your final design, you want to group everything together. Come on, catch up. It's being really slow today. Hopefully it won't be bad for you. Alright, it's being really slow. Either way, once you finish your design, first thing I'm going to have you do is change the title of it. Alright, it auto generates these super goofy titles. When you send it to me, I want to be able to know whose is whose so I can give it to the right person. So to change the title, if I click here, I can change it. Waltz Design, click away. This is kind of like Google Documents. Basically, as you make changes, it auto saves. So there's no real save button. Now, to send it to me. This is going to bug me. See what happens if I reload. There we go. So I have everything grouped together. My name's changed. You're going to export. You're going to do everything in design because it's already all one piece. You're going to do STL. Click that. It's preparing the model. And then it should pop up in the same corner. There you go. So if you are doing this on a regular computer, you'll get the file here. It's going to save it probably in your downloads by default. on the show in the folder. If you are doing this on Chromebook, it will kind of save it in temporary memory. What you'll want to do then is load that file onto your Google Drive, and then once it's on your Google Drive, you can share that drawing with me. So I'll do those same steps for you. STL, pop up Waltz Design 1. Yeah, because I have the file. It opened it up in MakerBot for me already. Not printing out from here. So show in folder. There it is. It's a .stl file. So I'm going to close this. Go to my drive. New file upload. And then I can select wherever it's downloaded. And yours is on Chromebook, so it's going to be slightly different. Find the file, upload it, and then you can share it with me. And then once I get them, I will start printing them out, and then I'll show you how to do the actual sand casting sand mold.